or built a website or seen a website, they always know. Okay, so to get into the website, you have to like go and search for it or type the domain address directly. Okay, so whenever someone searches a website, okay, searches a URL, I mean that particular information, will be tracked in the web server, in that particular website server. Okay, so this is how all the websites are designed. Okay, so when you have this process of tracking who's accessing a website, and then you collect all their information, including their IP address, including their location and the browser that they are using it, all this information will be collected and stored in the database. Okay, so over a period of time, what the admin of the server do, they'll just download all the web logs, and then they analyze, okay, what kind of people are like looking into my website, and how many unique users I have, and how many times they come back. Okay, am I having more number of unique visitors? All these things will be analyzed. Okay, and this process is called as web analytics. So it is a process of tracking, collection, analysis, and reporting of your web data, which is nothing but your web logs. Okay, so as I've been telling, you can analyze how many unique visitors I have. You can analyze, from where they're like, accessing your website, and then you can say, okay, how many people, stay on the website for a longer period of time. So there is a lot of metrics available. Okay, so you have to like categorize your metrics based on their strides, and then you have to check, okay, what kind of metrics that I have to really look into for my type of business. Okay, so key metrics differ from business to business. So for each of the business, the key metrics has to be decided. Okay, to do this, there is a lot of tools available. Okay, most of them are like paid tools. Okay, we have Statcounter, Crazyegg, Kissmetrics, Yahoo Web Analytics, and Google Analytics. This Google Analytics is kind of the most prominent one, which is like used by everyone. Okay, so after we like discussed about all the key metrics and the process, I think we will be like discussing completely in terms of Google Analytics, because which is kind of having a good market share when compared to the rest of the tools. Okay, so yeah, I've been talking about what is a web logs, right? So it is otherwise called server logs. So it's kind of created automatically when someone see the website, log into the website. Okay, and this maintains in the server always. Okay, so what are the information it will contain? It will contain the visitor's IP address, the date the user looked into the website, and the timestamp, and the HTTP code, and what is the bytes which is being served, and then from where he or she has like come to the website. Did they come from through a direct search? I mean, just like for example, if you're going to Amazon, you just type Amazon.in or in your browser, or you just Google searched it, or you just like came there from a Facebook link or LinkedIn link. Okay, the source, it's called as the referrer, and then user agent is also being tracked. It's nothing but your browser. Okay, so this is how our log file looks like. Okay, so before downloading, this just looks, it might be, you can download it as CSV or TSV file. Okay, and then when you can just segregate, and then you can find out, okay, you have the IDs, and then you have the IP address. Okay, and then you have timestamp, the URL, and then the status, bytes, referrer, and then the browsers. Okay, so how these kind of web logs capture the data? Okay, so the process of weblogs data collection it's very simple and easy to understand when compared to a lot of other processes. Okay, so when the user enters a website URL in the browser, the request is made to the server where the website is hosted in an ISP. Okay, internet service provider. So there are certain data that this ISP shares with web servers. Okay, so the server sends the requested web page using a browser to the user. Okay, then at the back end, the web server builds an entry in the web log for the request. So these log fields capture data such as the page names, the IP address, data and timestamps, browser, all these things. Okay, which are kind of shown previously. Everything is like captured by the server. Okay, so data in this log files is very cluttered. I mean, okay, so but to see and understand this, I mean, one can really analyze that and try to find out, okay, what the user is like looking for. Okay, so there are like more technical purposes here. Apart from web analytics, this data has been used for a lot of other technical purposes, like where is the technical glitch is happening in the site, and is the site down. For example, you can able to analyze the page load, how long it takes for a website to load. So that can be understood. So if the page is kind of taking too much time to load, so you can able to understand, okay, maybe the graphics there is like kind of very big, the size is kind of very big, or maybe the server is slow. All this information can be like tracked with this web logs data. Okay, so this web server has an inbuilt capacity to create log files, whether we want it or not, right? So if any other tool or web analytics, such as in Google Analytics, has not been activated, one can use this web logs. If you have your Google Analytics, all this information will be like tracked and analyzed, and then a dashboard will be created for you. If you don't have this Google Analytics, you have to go for this kind of web logs, so that you can just retrieve this and analyze and find out your user behavior. Okay, so this weblogs is a very useful source for tracking the behavior of search engine robots as well. So robots do not execute any JavaScript tags. Okay, so they just like mm, they just like analyze how the website is like kind of doing. Okay, so from weblogs, one can know the frequency of which robots are kind of crawling and indexing your site. Okay, but Google Analytics cannot be able to do that, or your JavaScript method of capturing data will also not be able to do that. But weblogs can really track which robots are crawling your website. Okay, so I think you all know what is data crawling. We capture all the data from the website. Since you're like studying data science, I guess you kind of understand what is crawling already. Okay, so apart from all this advantages, we have a lot of challenges with weblogs as well. Okay, so you cannot track unique visitors or like frequent visitors because of the page caching. Okay, so ISPs, I mean the internet service providers, they keep a temporary copy locally of the page served for a definite period only. Okay, so that when the next time the request comes in on the same page, the request is met locally instead of being sent to the server. So for example, when I just like search for a website, any company website. Okay, so does I send the request through my internet service provider, right? So when I get the information from the web server, this page will get stored automatically in the ISP service provider server. So when I just go to the next time and search for it, the same page will be called out from the ISP server, but not from the real web server. Okay, this helps in cutting down the time taken in serving the page, and the page appears to the user to load faster than. Okay, when compared to the previous one, first time, second time, when it loads from the ISP through the ISP, it loads faster. Thus, it enhances the user experience. What will be the implication of this on this analytics? I mean, since it's not like going to this, since the request is not going to the web server directly, the log file will not be created. Okay, so here the metrics like page views and the number of visits will be completely underreported. Okay, and you have this dynamic IP addresses. So with the increasing number of users having a dynamic IP address, it becomes difficult to identify unique users. So for example, if there are like 1,000 people are like working in a company, and if they kind of like try to access any website, so everybody will be having the same IP. Okay, so uh, sorry, everybody will be like, might be having a same IP if you're using a proxy service, right? So at that time, that this metrics will be underreported. But in when they're using a dynamic IP address, there is a lot of chance this metrics will be like, overly rated. For example, I'm just like hitting. I have, imagine I have a dynamic IP address, and then I'm kind of hitting Amazon.in like 10 times. So actually, it's just one person, but Amazon thinks, okay, there's 10 different people have accessed it, right? Okay, so this web analytics, a lot of metrics are available to identify. Uh, okay, so and these are like clubbed together based on the different buckets. Okay, the first one we have behavior analysis, outcome analysis, and experience analysis. Okay, we'll be like discussing one by one. Okay, so behavior analysis is like, it's a process of like, doing the same, collecting your data and analyzing it, and understanding the web logs. But here we are trying to understand the intent of the visitor. Okay, what the user is trying to do, that you try to figure out through behavior analysis. Whereas an outcome analysis, you're trying to find out what the user has achieved. I mean, has they brought the product? So, I mean, we think only in terms of outcomes. Whereas in the experience analysis, we talk about like, are they users are having a very pleasant experience? I mean, is the website intuitive? So these kind of factors will be tracked in experience analysis. Okay. So this behavior analysis is otherwise called a strict clickstream data analysis. It's the same process of like, tracking, collecting, analyzing, and reporting your web logs. Okay, but here we are trying to understand the intent of the visitors. Okay, the first metric that it's very important, which comes under behavior analysis, is visits or sessions. So visits are nothing but a series of page requests with the gap of no more than 30 minutes between each one. Okay, so for example, when someone visits a web page, you call that as a visit, right? Okay, so this, but there's most of the people think, okay, visits and clicks are really the same. It's not. For example, if someone clicks on a website, the click will be counted one, and if they go and visit it, yes, it is one. But someone clicks on the website, but before visiting the website, before the page gets loaded, sometimes they might close it, or the page might not get loaded. It might be taking longer time. They might close it, or there might be internet connection, no proper internet connection, or they might kind of got lost interest or something. Lot of things might happen. Okay, so when they actually see the website and then spend some time on that, you call that as a visit. Whereas here, a click is when you just click. Even if you click it accidentally, that is like counted. Okay, so most of the time, this clicks and visit numbers will not be the same. Okay, so if you have a clicks of around 100, and if you have visits of 85, I think that's a good strength. Okay, 85% is a very good click visit ratio. Okay, and next is the unique visitors. So as you all know, it's number of unique visitors that they have that the website has like seen in a particular period of time. So how we can measure this? Okay, this can be measured based on two methods: cookie based method and IP based method. I'm sure everybody knows what is a cookie. It's nothing but a small text file which is placed in the browser of a device. So each cookie will have a unique ID. Okay, so this the count of this unique ID over a period of time will be the website's unique visitors. Okay, but there are two different kinds of cookies available. Okay, persistent cookies and session cookies. So in persistent cookies, they have an expiration date, and actually it gets stored in your computer. When you accept the cookies to be part of your search, and then it gets stored in your computer, and then whenever you look into you get into that website, it will be counted as the same. Okay, whereas in the session cookies, it never gets stored in the computer, and it doesn't have an expiration date at all. When you just close the session, it get expired. When you open a website and then you scroll through it, a session cookie is created. After that, it gets like expired. Okay, so this kind of cookies is only used in Google Analytics. Okay, whereas most of the JavaScript stuff, they use persistent cookies. Um, but this is one of the advantage or disadvantage that you can talk about as Google Analytics. So if a number of people visit the same website again, I mean, the same person visit this website again and again, I mean, Google Analytics track it as a different user because they're tracking based only on the session cookies. Okay, so next one is the IP method. I mean, this is kind of little challenging when they're using proxy servers or like dynamic IP. I mean, here the unique visitors will be like calculated based on a different type unique IP address, right? But if they have using proxy servers and then the unique ID will be like the same person will be using this. I mean, different people will be using the same ID and dynamic ID. One person might have different IPs, right? So in this case, this method may not be like fruitful. Another method is another key metric is time on site. So it is like it indicates how much engagement the user gets. Or visitor gets when they visit a website. So it's about if they are able to spend more time on the site, most of them think, okay, the site is very cool and sticky. But imagine you have a FAQ page. If they spend too much time there, it means your website is either not intuitive or you have not addressed the questions what they're looking for, right? But if you have a blog page, you should have your you want people to spend more time on that. Okay, so it depends on the type of the page of a website. This time has to be like should have a threshold. If it is a FAQ page, the threshold should be very less. Or a contact us page, yes. I mean, they just like go there and check where the company is located, and then maybe they just scroll off, right? But whereas in the other pages, like a product page, they have to like spend more time. That's what that's how you make the website interesting, right? And there comes a very important problem. Most of us, when we browse, what we do is like we go to a company's website, we might create open a lot of tabs. Okay, and then in that case, how we can like calculate the time spent on the site, right? Okay, so here there's two methods that is being used. For example, here you just like go to the home page, and then at 10 o'clock, and then 10:01 you like open a new tab, and then you go to page 2 of that same company website, and then at 10:05 you go to page 3. Whereas here at 10:07 you go to page 5 from page 4. Okay, so in the traditional method, so the tab browsing is like, I mean, time spent calculation of tab browsing is like very simple, and it's not reliable as well. So they say, okay, here they spend from time from 10 to 10:05, so which means 5 minutes, and here it's from 10:01 to 10:07, so 6 minutes. So 5 plus 6. 11 minutes. So in the traditional method of calculating time spent, they always like think, okay, 11 minutes it's been spent by a visitor on this site, but that's completely wrong, right? It's not reliable. So in the linearization method, so what they do is like all these things will be like combined together. Okay, so from the home page, they have like open a new tab for page 4 at 10:01, and then at 10:02, I mean, page 2 was like opened, but from the home page. So that is color coded. Okay, so this is the blue color is like which is from the home page, whereas the green color is it's from the new tab. Okay, so if there is one more tab like open from home page at 10:03, I mean, that also can be integrated here. Okay, so this is actually it's called this is a linearization method for calculating the time spent. Okay, so this is how mostly they have to really use the linearization method. Just because you open a new tab, which should not be considered as that you are spending 11 minutes there instead of 6 minutes, the real 6 minutes. right? The next metric is page views. It is like, as the metric name says, the number of pages viewed by a user in a particular website. Okay, so it actually gives a depth of the visit. Okay, it is very much applicable to the content websites. Okay, more page views means more engagement with the visitor. One can calculate an average number of page views per visitor. Okay, this metric will be actionable when one segments the page views according to the traffic sources. For example, you can just try to check out how many, I mean, I have 10 people visiting the website from LinkedIn, so and then you have 20 people visiting the website from Facebook, and then you can find out who stayed, who has, like, looked more pages. Is that people from Facebook or is it people from LinkedIn? You can do all this. Okay, uh, and you can also, like, uh, have this metric little reliable if they are using a traditional method of website design. If they have like homepage, careers page, products page, contact us page, blogs, separately. But in few websites, they have a different design using Flickr slides. Okay, so they'll just have only one page, right? They just have home page and product and contact us and careers. Mostly startups have this kind of sites, right? Or small businesses have this kind of sites. So in this case, I don't think that page views will be counted as a good metric. So based on the design of the site, this has to be really decided. Okay, next comes a very important metric, which is the bounce rate. So it's nothing but the number of single page visits. Okay, so they are the visits in which the user leaves from the landing page without interacting with the page. So if the user interacts by playing a video or answering a poll or using a flicker or using, or like, closing a pop-up, then it will not be counted as a bounce. If they just open a page and then within a small period of time when they leave, you can call it as a bounce. Okay. So if 100 people are, like, visiting the website, and then 30 people like leaves the site immediately, that's fine. So if 70% of people are staying in, that's a good number. So 30% bounce rate is actually a good metric, a good threshold to have. Okay, next is exit pages. So it's nothing but the page where the users are, like, dropping from the site. For example, you just go to Amazon, you search products, and then you add it to the cart, but just leave it because you don't want to pay it right now. It happens. Or sometimes you're like browsing a website of a company, and then you just like think, okay, it's not going to help me, and then maybe in the product page, after understanding the products, you leave. So these are the pages called as the exit pages, where the user is kind of dropping. Okay, so businesses must then actually critically analyze what leads to this exit. Okay, are user exiting because the prices are high, or a desired product is not available, or discounts are not there, or they don't have the desired payment option method, especially for e-commerce sites. Okay, so if they have to really need to speak to these people who are dropping, yes, they can really talk to them and understand. Okay. And next one is the traffic source. Yes, it's a very important metric. We have been discussing this a lot already. So, so there are three kind of traffic sources that already a direct visitors, search visitors, and then referral visitors. If you just like key in the website name directly on the browser, and then you come here, it's a direct visit. Whereas like when you like Google it, and then you click on the SERPs, that's a search visit. Whereas like when you like excuse me, when you get the links from your Facebook or LinkedIn page, or from any of the blogs, or you can just like share to from your friend, it is called as a referral visitors. Okay, and next is your share of voice in search. So the share of voice is a percentage of search traffic a brand gets from the search engines as compared to the competitions. Okay, the search traffic will depend on the click-through rate, which in turn depends on the position in SRP. This like go together. But to estimate the CTR, we have to really refer on this research of your data. Okay, so mostly the CTR drops roughly by half of each of the position. For example, if you get 10 results, so you tend to see um, if 30% of the people click on the first result, and only 15% of people click on the second result, whereas 7.5% of the people clicks on the third result. So you really know how important is to get in the top listings of SERP, right? So here you're just not analyzing random, you're just comparing your share of voice with your competitors. Okay, maybe you can just like define set of keywords and then and compare who comes first. Maybe in e-commerce you can just have Flipkart and Amazon. They can really compare it. Okay, most of the times, I mean, sometimes when search for product, Flipkart comes up. I mean, search for over a period of time, Amazon comes up. So which means they're actually keeping a tab on each other on this metric. That's why it's happening. Okay, so that's how like we have discussed a lot of metrics in behavior analysis so far. Next, we'll be like moving into outcomes analysis. Okay, so outcome analysis here, as I mentioned earlier. So here we'll be like looking on how much revenue will be generated or how many conversions happened. Okay, so we'll be like thinking on the metrics in the business terms. Okay, so earlier we were like talking in terms of behavior terms, right? So here one should not be like satisfied with if they are having a very good numbers with behavior analytics. Okay, if they have really have good numbers here, means that they're doing well in the business. Otherwise, even if they're like doing good with clickstream analytics, and if they're not doing well with the outcome analytics, their product is not working. Okay, the first one is conversion rate. So it's nothing but number of users or percentage of users who performs action, which is decided by the business. Okay, it's not a user here, it's actually business. Okay, so imagine somebody like visits an e-commerce platform. So here you have 30% bounce rate. So even if there's like to make people stay here in the website, I mean, you should have a very good quality site, and then you should be having a relevant products, right? And then if they're kind of browsing it, I mean, you have to really make them motivated to stay in your site. And then even if you still want them to like stay in the next stage, you have to like have a very good quality products. Okay, and then the next stage where when the person who's really want the product, only they'll stay. Okay, and which means, and also the company should be like providing them good product features with good product discounts, and then everything should be perfect. And then they sometimes some people leave here, and in this part, and then they go and check the competitor site and then check, okay, are they like offering at a better price? If it is, they might leave, they'll not come back. Otherwise, so if they think, okay, I mean, Amazon is offering a good this product at a better price than Flipkart, if they think that, they'll come back and then they buy it. So the percentage of people who like visits and then drops off is like between 30 to 70% in the bounce stage. After that, it is 30 in this 30 to people who come here. These people will be like just in the browsing stage. And then here we have early viewers, or early abandoners, we can call that. So these people, they just like look into that, try to understand, and then they just leave. And here, these people are late abandoners, where they try to get more deep into the product. And from this 5 to 10% only, we have a conversion rate of 1 to 5%. So imagine you have 100 people visiting your website, maybe 1 to 5% will buy it. Actually, that's a very good number. Okay. I mean, it's not only like buying a product. The conversion can be anything. Okay, it can be signing up for a subscription, which is a free subscription or newsletter, or a paid subscription. Or for example, even sometimes some companies offer a trial period, right? Even if they sign for a trial period, that might be called as a conversion. Some also give a free trial period, but they might have to like submit the credit card information. Yes, if they do it, yes, that's a great thing, right? Because they trust the company with credit card information, with very sensitive information. Okay. Or if they're like gonna asking I mean downloading a brochure about the product, they want the sales team to contact them, they leave out their information, like um, phone numbers and email ID to contact them back. All these things can be conversions. The next metric is average order value. So it is nothing but dividing the total revenue generated by a particular customer divided by the total number of orders. Okay, so imagine I use Swiggy all the time to order food. So far I've spent 10,000 rupees on Swiggy with 10 orders. So 10,000 divided by 10 is 1,000. So every time I order food in Swiggy, mostly my average order value is around $1,000. Okay. So most of the companies, they always try to campaign to increase the average order value. So let us take an example of like an online grocery store where they had an initial average order value, or AOV, as 500. Okay, so maybe that is because they provide free shipping only if they have an order value of 500 or above. So they got an average order value of 500. Okay, so they want to increase the minimum order value from 500 to 1,000 for free shipping. So here people don't want to pay more for shipping charges, so they might buy products and stock it. So obviously, I might, for example, I spent 500 for 2 days for groceries. I might like order it for fresh, but if they are like kind of charging more for shipping charges, what I'll do, I'll just like buy it for 4 days for 1,000 rupees and store it, right? So this is the impact. Okay, so therefore here companies have started offering a discount. Maybe if they are trying to purchase of 1,500 and more. So here what they'll do, they may try to buy it for a week, and so that they get discounts. So the order value comes around 1,500 if it happens, or even it sometimes they might go on buying extra items. Okay, maybe they might be just planning to buy that, but they might like stay without even buying with it. Okay, so they might go for a want category products from need category. If okay, when they have this kind of this kind of offers, I'm sure we have done all this, and I have done that. Okay, mostly when you just go for shopping, especially the dress and everything, they say, okay, if you buy for 10,000 you might get a 2,000 discount. Though I may not need all this, I might just buy it and then stock it. I do that, and I am sure everybody does that same, right? So this is a very good marketing trick for by the companies to increase their average order value. Okay, so one of the other problem which is like faced by the websites is the users use different channels. It's because the different channels are available. For example, a company will be like have their presence in the social medias like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and they might be having their website. They do email marketing. They have a YouTube channel, right? And imagine a user is kind of signed up for all of this, right? We can't say, okay, only Facebook post has like made that particular user to buy this. We can't really identify which channel they choose to buy the product, right? This is kind of a tough job. So here, that's where this metric comes in place of top conversion paths. So these are the four metrics: top conversion path, assisted conversions, time lag, and path length are like used when the companies are like using multi-channel funnel. Okay, so it can be direct, paid search. I mean, if they're using Google AdWords, and then if they're using referral marketing, and then if they're using affiliate marketing, email marketing, and so social media, everything. So in that case, to analyze this, they have to go for this kind of metrics. Okay, so we get to know. For example, a user buys a product, we get to know whether that person have clicked on the referral link, have they clicked on, have they liked the social media, have they like seen the promotion, that can be tracked. and then whether they clicked on email marketing, all these things will be tracked. Okay, and then in the assisted conversions, this metric shows the contribution of each channel towards the conversion. Okay, so in the last interaction is the interaction that immediately precedes the conversion. Okay, I mean, I might have like come to know about the discount through Facebook, and then I've seen it again when I was accessing my Twitter, and then I just like when the need comes in the evening, I just like go to the direct URL and then bought it. So here, last interaction will be my direct URL. Okay, so here Twitter and Facebook has like really helped me in buying the product, which has assisted the interaction. Whereas the first interaction is Facebook, because I saw the promotion first in Facebook. Okay. The next one is a time lag. Time lag is like it can help on understand how many days a user takes to convert. Many days may indicate that the users are finding it challenging to take the final leap of faith in a product or service. So one can like see how to use the testimonials or the ratings to increase the credibility, so that they can like finally buy a product. So, for example, I just came to know about the offer on at the morning 10 o'clock, and then I saw it again at 12 o'clock at night. I buy it. So which means I really trust the product. But I'm kind of like seeing about all these products for over a month, but still I don't trust this company. It's a new e-commerce platform. So in that case, to make this happen, I think you have to do all this kind of using testimonials, having the product reviews, ratings, so that people think, okay, this website is really credible. So next one is path length. So it shows like how long the sales cycle is. So it shows like how many interactions that user do, or like before the conversion. So I was like mentioning like seeing the ad twice in the social media, and then going to direct. So here I have like 3 steps. Okay, sometimes when people are searching for a particular product, they see it directly in the platform, and then that ad for that particular product comes tracking the user for a long period of time, for 10 days, even sometimes they not buy it. For example, I just want to see how much Rolex watch cost. So I just go to the website and then check what is the cost, and then I spend quite little time. Imagine maybe 30 minutes analyzing all these products, and then when I've been like scrolling my Facebook feed, I kind of see that, and when I see Twitter, yes, I see that, but I'm not interested in buying it. One might be I may not have enough money, or I don't think that I need it. I might be having the smartwatch, or there's a lot of other things, right? And so it really try to understand this metric will help you really understand what is the length of all the sales cycle is taking. Next one is visitor frequency and persistency. So how often when the visitor is like visiting website is called as is tracked through visitor frequency. And then how long has it been since the last visit is tracked through visitor persistency. For example, I visited the website yesterday 10 times. So my frequency is 10, whereas like persistency is 1 day, because I visited it, my last visit on yesterday, right? So it is 1 day. Okay. Next is new versus return visitor conversion. Okay, one must keep an eye on how many new visitors have they have in comparison to the visiting visitors. I mean returning visitors. So if a website is like has very less returning visitors, it means the users lack loyalty. To improve the number of first-time visitors conversions, one has to like observe their activities like separately from the conversion rates. For example, you have like 80% of the people visit you regularly. They are like return visitors, they come and buy it. 80% of the return visitors buy the next time. Whereas like you have only 20% of the or 30% of the new visitors buy your product, which means you have to really work on your promotions of attracting new visitors. Whereas if your return visitors rate is very less, conversion rate is very less, you have to really work on bringing your customers back. You have to make them loyal, maybe by offering deals and discounts, or points method, rewarding system, something like that. Okay, so next is economic value per visit. So there is a certain value that one must assign to every single visit to the website. So these values can be categorized into two different types of conversions. The first is micro and second is the macro conversion. So micro conversion are basically assist conversions, which include some intermediate step, which might be lead to macro conversion. So they're like not the ultimate sales, but this will lead to the ultimate sale at the end. So seeing my Facebook ad and Twitter ad is micro conversion, whereas like going directly to the website and buying it is a macro conversion. Okay, macro conversion is nothing but your ultimate sale. Okay, so this economic value, it will be like really calculated in numbers. There's a lot of formulas involved in working this. We can able to see that when we see a Google Analytics page. Okay, so imagine we have like a Facebook and Twitter channels. So in Facebook, 100 people has visited. Out of that, 10 people they're like they gave the information, they're interested, and then out of that, 2 people bought it. And from LinkedIn, we got 100 visits, but 20 people were interested, but only 4 people bought it. So here the average order value is like 1,000 rupees. Let's have it as 1,000 rupees. Okay. So here the economic value for lead is like the average order value divided by the number of leads. So 1,000 divided by 10, 200 is the Facebook lead, whereas like for this is 1,000 divided by 20. Okay, so I mean here based on the number of leads you get, your economic value will be like calculated. Yes, we can able to see all those calculations very real in our Google Analytics demo. Okay, so next is like the percentage of visitors visiting the product pages. If you're a product company or an e-commerce platform, you want people, if they're like kind of like visiting the site and then dropping off at the homepage, it's not really makes sense. So you have to really work on the percentage of visitors who are visiting the product page, which actually will lead to the getting a sale or a conversion, right? Okay. So we have discussed so many metrics for outcome analysis. Now we'll be getting into the experience analysis. Okay, in the experience analysis, it is like very important to research on a continuous basis to know if the visitors can find the information they're looking for, or if the web page is doing its purpose. Okay, so first is like by doing research, we can like get to know the sites. I mean, you can do research to get to know the experience of the consumer, like whether they like the website, what do they feel. So one of the method that they can use is site surveys. So which is nothing but you can just like have a question formulated and then like send it to them, and then ask whether they like the website and what is the advantage and disadvantage, how is the user experience, everything that you can check. But you should not like frame too many questions, that will spoil it. So either you can have a pop-up request, or or a link, you can send it to them at the end of the of using the website. You can do that. Okay, so here you can have a lot of and many questions based on the nature of the site and the interest of the users. But but you should be having a few questions like why do they visit the website, what is their purpose actually, and where they're able to like understand, where they're able to like get what they really want, and if yes, why, and if not, why. Such questions can be like included in the site surveys. Next is usability testing. So this is to ask real users to test the functioning of the site, to know how it is to navigate, how it is easy to navigate, and then how intuitive it is. Okay, so from that the business can take the feedback and work accordingly. Okay, so there's a website called usertesting.com which provides this kind of services to the users, to the companies. Okay, so you can just go on and check on that. So next one is site visit. So here the people will go to the customer's premises, a home or an office, and then observe how they're really accomplishing the task on the websites amidst a lot of distractions. I mean, with ads popping up, or like their own personal distractions. So here people are not relying only on the feedback that they give through usability testing or survey method, but they're really observing the person's behavior. Because when you like you ask a review, some people might be very generous. They might say, okay, the website is doing good, even though it is not. And sometimes some people are like, they are pessimistic, or they're very critical about the website. That's in nature, right? So though the company website is like doing good, they might give up. Very less rating. So there and there's a lot of other things, based on the device they use, based on the network they use, operating system they have, everything, adds a minimal contribution here, right? So to understand all this, if the company's business is like completely is reliable on sites, on the websites, like the e-commerce platforms and other things, people are really doing site visits and understanding this. Okay, so this is based on the research that you can do. And next one is like website experimentation testing. Okay, A/B testing. So A/B testing is like it's a very common kind of testing method used. So here, they compare two versions of the website to see which performs better. Okay, so maybe here you see they have a control website, like what the real website. With that, they were able to get 23% of the conversions, whereas in the variation site they got 37% of the conversion, which means that variation is really working well. The user experience is better in the variation side. So which means you have to like keep the element B, the variation side. All right. um, so this is one of the method that make the companies to do research and test the platforms, so that they'll be like staying updated and relevant to the users. So this actually, do this A/B testing in Google Analytics itself. Okay, you can just like go and choose this, and then choose that you're like doing an experiment, and then you can just choose a metric, which page that you're trying to like have this A/B testing applied, and then you want to experiment with that. Like I want 50% of the traffic to use element A site, and then here I want 50% of the user to use a site B design, and then you can check. Okay, otherwise you can just say, okay, 1 week I want to like use the control element A site, and the next week I can use the element B site. You can even do that. Okay, that all everything can be like created. So for that, you just have to like create a small coding, and then you have to like copy that in your Google Analytics pages, and then you can start doing it. Yeah. So this is how a dashboard looks like in Google Analytics after doing your A/B testing. So here I have like two testings. So variation one I have, variation two, and the original one. So I have like uses of like similar number of users here for each of the site types, but the revenue is slightly higher for variation one. Okay, the conversion rate is also like slightly higher for variation one, and the average order value is like kind of higher for the original one. Okay, so here it looks like pretty similar, but there are in few cases, there'll be like drastic changes. If the site is like kind of having a very poor aesthetics and user experience, that time the people really go for this kind of testing, or they're not sure like what kind of UI that they can have, they'll go for A/B testing. Okay, next one is a website in website experimentation testing. We have multivariate testing. So if you just want to have two variations, that's fine. But you want to have many variations, and within the variation types, you might be having many different factors. For example, in element A, you want to have different homepage and different images and different prices. And element B, we're also trying three different things. And element C also, you're trying three different things. So which means you have three variations in three different sets. So total 9 different variations. So in this type, you have to go for multivariate testing. So it is a technique that allows to test the multiple variants concurrently. Okay, so It can be anything, the image or call to action or a home page. It can be anything. If each has like 3 variations, so it will be like, minimum of 9 has to be like tested concurrently, right? So the formula is like total number of variations equal to, sorry, it's not 9, it's actually 27. 3 into 3 into 3. Okay, I have 3 variations in element A, 3 variations in element B, and 3 variations in C. It's a product. Okay, it's not a addition. So it's 29 variations you might get. So I might have a home page of element A. I might have a call to action of element B, and then I have the image from element C. So when you like iterate this, they'll be having 27 variations. To go for this, you have to really go for multivariate testing. Okay, so what are the aspects that I can test here with A/B testing? You can test anything, like you can have a different home page. You can like have a different call for action. I mean, if it is subscribe or like like button or buy button, anything. So you can have buttons placed at different places. Or you can, instead of like buy, you can just like have add to cart. I mean, you can like change your e-commerce process, everything that you can try here. And creatives, what type of font color do you use, one size, and then font types and images, that all comes under creatives category. Yes, most important thing is like price. Sometimes you want to check whether people buy products if when I give them 25% of off, or if I give them a discount code, a discount coupon. You can check that. Okay, if you have 2 different promotions, yes, you can check that here, and which promotion is kind of attracting more people given other conditions same. Okay, all these things can be like done here. Okay, so far we have been like discussing all 3 different types of buckets. Okay, behavior analysis, outcome analysis, and experience analysis metrics. Okay, so now we'll be discussing about how you can work on codings, and then how you can able to work on tracking codes in Google Analytics. Okay, so we have been talking about having A/B testing done, where you have to like to make this actionable, you have to like input some coding, right? Yes. So likewise, to have your Google Analytics in the website, for your website, you have to add Google Analytics code to your website coding. Okay, so this code is for tracking web analytics such as unique users, page view, bounce rate, and all other metrics. So Google provides us free analytics services, right? But for that you have to have your own website published. Okay, so when code is like put in the global elements, whether in the header or footer, this can be like you can connect your Google Analytics page with the website. Okay, for that you have to do add some tracking coding. And for Google AdWords conversion code, this is like used to track conversions from campaigns run through Google AdWords. Right, so some people click on the website directly, or some people click on the Google AdWords, right? So to find that out, you have to add your Google AdWords conversion code. Okay, so here this can be like added. This code is already available. Okay, in the tools section of Google AdWords. You just have to go to Google AdWords in the tools section. You will be able to like get that code and then like paste it, so that you can able to track all these metrics like bounce rate, unique visitors, and everything. Okay, and next is like a remarketing code. So here it is like sometimes when you like see an ad on Twitter or Facebook, when you like it, that kind of ad follows you wherever you go. Or sometimes when you go to an e-commerce platform, when you like saw the product and that product comes to you in Facebook and Twitter. So this kind of this remarketing happens. So this is actually like done through different having different types of remarketing codes in different platforms. For example, if you're wishing to like do remarketing using AdWords, then you must to generate AdWords remarketing code and put it in the web. all pages of the website. But if you like want to do remarketing only on Facebook, then you want to like put the Facebook remarketing code on the website. Okay, so if one wishes to like dynamic remarketing, whether irrespective of the product that they have like visited on the site that they want to like show, so they have to go for dynamic remarketing code from AdWords or Facebook. Okay, so if you have a particular product, you can do it for a particular product. If you want to like have it dynamic, whatever product that I search on Amazon, I want, if Amazon wants me to show that in the Facebook, they can go for dynamic remarketing code. Okay, so this all this can be like done on a website, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then you can track all your conversions. Okay, so here see, you have to like put a different code for Google Analytics, AdWords, and remarketing. So and it is kind of like hard coding, right? But to make it a little easier, you have a platform called Google Tag Manager where you can replace all these hard coded tags into dynamic codes. So this platform really helps you sorry, easier implementation of all these Google services. Okay, it uses a placeholder tag where you have a small code snippet that allows to like dynamically insert tags according to the need. Okay, so it's like kind of suited for all types of business where you can use AdWords, analytics, and any other third-party tags as well. You can do everything. Okay, so you just have to like go to tagmanager.google.com to create an account, and then you should have a container created for your site, and then you can like add container snippet, and then this container snippet has to be like added to the site, and then you can migrate your hard-coded tags into your here, and then so that it becomes very dynamic. Okay, we can see all this when we see a Google Analytics page with live website. We can see all this. Okay, so this is how the Google Analytics page looks like. Okay, so when you just log in, when it's a live site, you just have acquisition of your traffic channels, what different types of channels you have. So as I was saying that if they're using multi-channels for organic channels, organic search, I got 7,000 users. That's very good, right? It's almost like 50% of more than 52. It's 52% of total users. So out of which 6,700 new users. And then they were using it multiple times. I just had only 7,700 users, which have had 8,800 visits, right? So through referrals, we got 2,000 users. For directly, we have around 2.6 thousand users, and paid search. I mean, mostly it's going to be Google AdWords. So we have 720, and for social we got 582 from social media. 582 links were redirected, and display ads is 333, and affiliate marketing 360. See, this is how like you can able to see. Okay, and for referrals, you can just click, and then you can have a detailed information on which referrals they have been here, all these things. And this is like specific to Google Ads, and this is for search, this is for social, and this is for campaigns if you've run anything. Okay, even if you have a campaign on social media or any other thing, we can integrate this here. Okay. So this dashboard is being created where it should be like inclusive of all these three metrics from all these metrics from three different buckets. So I'm not saying if you have to have include everything in your dashboard, then your dashboard becomes very cluttered. So you have to like take the real metrics based on the type of the business that the website is in, and accordingly you have to pick metrics from all three different buckets. So minimum you should have 10 different metrics in a dashboard ideally, right? So maybe you can just have a combination of 433 or 523 based on the type of the business, but you should ideally have minimum of 2 or 3 metrics from each of the bucket. Okay, so you're able to understand all this very better. Now we'll be like I'll be showing a live demo on how you can like sign up for Google Analytics. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So you just have to like go to analytics.google.com. I just like created a sample name, and then when you configure this, so it looks like it's a home page where you can just go to customize, and then you can create your dashboards. Okay, this is how a dashboard looks like. You to create it, you have to like click create, but you should have an actual data there. But since I don't have anything here, so I just like creating a sample dashboard with new users and total users, which is inclusive of both new users and returning users. And then from where they are like looking in the bounce rates, average session duration, and number of pages per session. Goal completion. Here I have to like tell what is my goal. If I want people to subscribe to the newsletter, if that is my goal, I can give it. Or I want people to buy the purchase, yes, I can do it. And the money's like they have like spent here comes here. Okay, you can like create reports as well, separate reports according to the need of the user. For example, a chief marketing officer will be like looking for a different report, an overview report, whereas a digital marketer who's part of the firm might be looking for different reports, right? So you can like create new reports and customize, and then like assign it to people. Okay, so here you have real-time reports with overview, location, traffic sources, content, conversions. Since I don't have any numbers here, I don't think that you will get a sense of it, but you can see the metrics and how it is like aligned. Okay, so it gives a description of what is it. Okay, so for new people to understand and how to navigate, it's completely user friendly. You can also have a demo when you like log in for the first time. It's really possible. You just have to have a Google account, and then you have to mention what type of website it is, and then you have to like give some dummy URL or product names, and then you can be here. Okay, so what are things that you have to like go to get into this information? For example, to see the conversions, you have to go to real time traffic sources, and then you'll be able to see that. See, real time traffic sources, I'm going there, and then so here down I see page views according to the type of the referrals traffic source. You can see it here, and how long they have stayed, all these things that you can see here. Okay, and conversions, we have been discussing that, right? So you can see goal hits and per second. Okay, so audience, when you just go here, you can see, wow, you have lifetime values, like how much they have spent in the entire lifetime for your particular product. That can be calculated. That's great. It's in beta version still. So here you can see number of users, new users, sessions, number of sessions per user. So they're like, if I'm kind of tracking it like frequently, yes, that has been tracked. Page views, pages per session, average session duration, and bounce rate. So you can see all this like daily wise. This is like a daily report. Okay, you can like change this to a weekly report, a monthly lifetime value. Okay. Okay, so it gives the days, and then acquisition channel, source, medium we have, and number of users, revenue per each of the user. Then this is total revenue, I guess. What is that? Yeah, that's total revenue, which includes tax and shipping. Okay, for each of the revenue source and channels, you can do this. That's great. Let's check what this cohort analysis is. Okay. So here the cohort is like designed based on the dates. So it's about like how many people have like bought on that particular day. Right here also you can look. I think you should be able to customize. Yes, you can click to create. So if they have like bought on September 20th, you can just like do it. Or I want to like create a cohort based on the tribes of the user. Maybe young male, the age between 20 to 30. I can just try to create a cohort, and then I think they should be able to do that. Understand how much money they have spent here. What is their traction? I think that's how it should work. I'm not sure. Demographics. Okay, this talks about your demographics to gender. Okay, what is the interest is all about? Remember, we have been discussing all this, right? So, and this is kind of a sample. We have like 5% is like kind of interested in sports, and 3% is interested in computers. Here you have like sports coming twice, whereas here, okay, they are like into running and walking, and here it's cycling. Here they are into soups and stews. Okay, cool. This is cool. And this is based on the age. So this is the demographics. We have age, gender, and overview. In interest, we have affinity categories. Remember, we have been talking about affinity categories, and then we are able to custom our affinity categories as well. Hope you all remember all that we have discussed. Okay, so next comes, the occasional language. So we already saw, the geographical map where you can just find out where your customers are, city-wise, state-wise, country-wise, language-wise. Yeah, it's very cool, right? So here you have based on the behavior, new and returning users, frequency and consistency. Remember we talked about frequency and consistency. And then next engagement, which is about sessions and page views. See, so I mean in the dashboard, we just saw a lot of metrics, but all the metrics will be like pulled out from here. Okay, we have a lot of metrics over behavior, demographics, interest, and all these other things, acquisition. Uh, from this metrics, you can the dashboards will be like created. Okay, so any Google AdWords, which is kind of given the campaigns, all this information, it will be like populated here when you like insert the tracking code in the website. Okay, so when any Google ad campaign is like kind of being running for you and for your website, so you have to like add some tracking code there in your website so that you can able to like see your performance here. Okay. To make your Google Analytics page live, to populate the data itself, you should have a live website running, and then you have this particular code, linked to this particular account. The Google, so that's why I mean, if a company is willing to share their Google Analytics information or dashboard with me, I should get their Google Analytics page, their website credentials, everything. Okay, this is very very sensitive information. Okay, so you can just like figure out how this works. You can just like do like log in using your Google user ID here in analytics.google.com, and then figure out all these metrics. Whatever that we have been discussed, it's here. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I think we can wind up. If you got any questions, you can ask.